Hi, this is Bobby, the woodman. Just going through this Southwest inspired vase that I made here recently. Just kind of a couple of the steps that I went through to do this. Sanding the base pieces, gluing them together right here to get a good base for this vase. This is Peruvian walnut that I'm working with right here. Love this, the grain and the color of it. And then once those pieces are done, having to run them through this drum sander, which levels them out and it makes them easier to stack. And now working on the feature ring, had to count, make sure all the pieces were in place the way it is, and then gluing up every one of those pieces, putting them together, and then making sure that all the pieces are exactly where they're supposed to be, or else that feature ring will not turn out the way that I wanted it to. But I was able to put them all together, and then did a really poor job of getting the rubber band around these, and finally succeeded, so no fear there. But then going through some of the kind of rough trimming of the base pieces and then the additional pieces. But this is a scraper that I'm working with right here, and just forming up the base pieces and making sure that it all kind of blends together. And then this would be the inside of those pieces. And I've said that Peruvian walnut is just a dream to work with. It comes off the blade nicely. It's just, though it does get in your sinuses, so there is a little bit of a drawback. But by and large, a good wood to work with. And then cutting some more pieces, cutting them into roughly triangular shapes, and then a lot of sanding in vases like these. A lot of sanding, a lot of gluing, a lot of prep time. Just getting the burrs off of those, and then dry fit to make sure that all the joints are accurate. And I'm not sure if other people do this, but I like to make sure that all the grains are going the same way. I don't know that it does anything. It's just an engineering part of me, I think. But gluing them all up together, and this will be another ring that I'm using in this vase. And I actually was fairly successful getting the rubber bands around this without trashing it, so I was pretty excited about that. And then just kind of going on to the rough cutting of the vase, and just trying to make sure that I get the shape exactly the way I wanted, or close to what I wanted to do. And then as you're starting to move up, you add rings, and just have to make sure that you're blending them together, and ensuring that the inner walls aren't too thin. And putting it on slow-mo here, I always enjoy getting the walnut in the face. It's enjoyable. Not really. It's not enjoyable. So here I'm working with Osage orange, the wood. It's an amazing color. I've had a lot of people ask, or not a lot, a couple people, one or two anyway, ask me if I've painted these vases. But no, this wood is that color. That is Osage orange, and I just love the color there that comes out. So, and here I am just kind of transitioning the top of this vase from the Osage orange to the Peruvian walnut, and kind of rounding out the top of this, again, Southwestern inspired anyway. vase. And then my least favorite part is taking this thing off of the lathe. It gets a little cramped in there when you're trying to kind of hollow out the bottom to make sure that it's not completely flat. You want it kind of tucked in a little bit. And then sometimes stuff like this happens where you can start to see the vase wobbling a little bit too much, and by the time I'm able to get it, it just flung off of the lathe. That was crap. That was just crap. Anyway, had to sand out 3 gouges in that thing, which was horrible. But I was able to salvage it and sign my initials to the back and put a date on this bad boy. And call it good. I was really enjoyed the way this turned out. The vibrant colors, I ended up putting about 10 layers of shellac on that, really thin layers with sanding between them. But was pretty happy with the way this turned out. Thanks for watching the show. I'll continue to post more. Thanks.